Now it's our time, though, for our interview to take place. We've got Kazra on the line, and we got some questions that you guys have submitted. We've got some questions ready. We got plenty we want to ask and find out what's going on with Valorant as an esport and how things are going. Kazra, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Appreciate you coming to join us for this. So I'm going to get straight into it because we got so much we want to ask you, so much we want to cover because we're enjoying everything we're seeing here out of the Valorant esports camp. So our first question we had is, obviously there's been a lot of hype around Valorant as an esports, but we're seeing, especially in Europe, organizations maybe not wanting to jump in just yet in terms of committing to the game. Do you plan to kind of make a clear journey of what will happen for the game as an esports?
Yeah, I think, when we look at the esports scene, it's a little bit different in Europe than it is in North America.
Yeah.
I think North America is a little bit more rooted in like the franchise model, where Europe, as we've seen, is a lot more focused on relegation and promotion models and overall performance. So in North America, we saw a lot of teams get involved quickly. We saw a lot of talent get locked up quickly. But in Europe, I think we've seen a lot of teams take their time and try to build the best orgs possible and the best team possible. We've seen big orgs like NIP get into this pretty early, and we've seen some new orgs come out just in the last few weeks with Team Liquid and FPS actually. And we've even seen orgs like Vitality run events with the purpose of scouting. So ultimately, EU has been a little bit slower, but I think it's because they're taking their time and want to ensure that when they build a team, it is going to be a competitive team that it performs really well.
And is there a plan that you guys have to like outline the kind of the journey that you guys want to take? Is if you got something you want to say to people or something that's coming up in the future, say like, oh, this is the direction we want to go with Valorant, or are you just leaving up to the tournament organizers?
We are planning what Valorant esports can look like. It's something we're exploring actively. We're trying to learn from the community and learn and listen to our fans and build something that is going to work best for Valorant. We want it to grow naturally. And Ignition Series has been a way to allow third parties to experiment with different formats, and we've been watching and learning. But ultimately, I want to see Valorant on big stages. I want to see a World Championships where you have EU versus NA. So our vision is for Valorant esports to be huge. We want stadiums filled with fans, hopefully in the future. And we're still actively figuring out, what is the best way to get there and how can we shape an ecosystem that works best for Valorant.
That's fair enough. Obviously, from an esports perspective, it's important to have spectating tools so we can show the fans what they want to see. Do you guys have plans to implement a replay system, cam paths, and when could we expect to see those kind of tools given to us?
Yeah, those are things we're actively exploring. I think those kind of get split into two things. There's the spectator tools itself, which is things we're actively improving on. The spectator tool today is actually different than it was at launch, and it's going to have a lot more changes coming. I think we're trying to explore how do we revamp the spectator tool? How do we do things that haven't been done before? Valorant is a new game. We have a blank slate. We should revisit what it means to watch an FPS game and figure out how can we innovate there. The replay system is a little bit separate to that. It's something we're also exploring, and we think that can serve a few purposes. One is just for any player to be able to watch their own matches again. From an esports perspective, it'd be really nice to go back and watch certain moments that we might have missed. And then I think we've heard that a lot of teams do use replay systems for analysis of matches as well. Yeah. So it's something we're actively exploring, but those are two things we really do want to improve on.
Now, in terms of the tournaments that we're seeing put on at the moment, like you mentioned, it's many different tournament organizers getting to try things out and put the tournaments on. Are you guys going to keep that going for the foreseeable future, or are we maybe going to go kind of the similar routes of what we saw from League of Legends and have like the LCS, the LEC, the LPL, and that kind of thing?
I think the first thing I want to say is just because we did something for League of Legends doesn't mean we might do the same thing for Valorant. We're actually really trying to approach Valorant and build something that is best for Valorant itself. And right now we're trying to make sure that we build the esports ecosystem with the community first. And so we're actively working with third parties, as you saw with Ignition Series. The end of Ignition Series won't be the end of third-party events. We'll still see others running these events. And we're actively working on exploring ways we can continue working with third parties. And ultimately, we think it's important for an esport to have opportunities at all levels of competition and not just the highest levels. So we do think that third parties are really, really important in ensuring that there are those opportunities at all levels.
Oh, that's fair enough. Yeah, definitely grassroots are always going to be very important. One thing down to actually within the game itself, obviously we're going to add more and more agents over time. And what I'm wondering is when it comes to these tournaments, from you guys' perspective, has there been any discussion around agent bans as well as obviously the typical map routes? And what are your thoughts on potentially, as more and more agents get brought in, implementing a system like that?
It's something we're actively thinking about. I don't think we have enough agents to really start banning
Sure.
any yet. And then one thing we've always considered and talked a lot with the dev team about is that teams have set plays and strategies that they run, and those plays involve specific agents.
Yeah.
So starting to ban agents actually starts discouraging the practicing of plays, and we don't want to do that yet, or we don't want to. We're not something we're really exploring right now, and we also don't want to remove a player's star agent that they've practiced for a while. We want to make sure that players can go and have their star moment with someone that they're really good at.
Now, along these similar lines, have you guys thought of maybe there's a maximum number of agents you want to have in the game?
No, and I don't think it's not something we really talked about. We don't have enough agents to, I think, to even warrant that conversation really right now. And I think we've come out and said that we're hoping to have a pace of releasing 6 per year as well.
Yeah, no, I remember that side of things. Okay, well, we'll look forward to seeing how many we end up with across the life of it. Now, in terms of maps, right, we've got 4 solid maps at the moment, and I fully, from coming from competitive gaming, understand how long it takes to put a good map together and make sure it is viable in that way. But how long do we have to wait to see some more? And I guess I'm just hungry to see some more. I want to get to the point where we can get like best of 5s going and vetoes and see which teams are stronger on maps. So I'm just excited to know how long we got to wait to see some.
Oh, I can't agree more. Every time I see a best of 5, it feels me a little bit inside. We don't have the 5th map. We want to release 1 map per episode. Valorant is split into episodes and acts. So there are 2 episodes per year and 3 acts per episode. So, we're hoping to have 2 maps being released every year. And, we're about in the middle, or we just started Act 2 of episode 1. So we're not too far away from having our 5th map.
Oh, fair enough. And obviously, as more and more maps get added in, do you guys think perhaps we'll add a system for matchmaking where you can select which map you're going to play and maybe take some out if you don't like it? Or do you guys always want to have it as just a mixed bag that you never know what you're getting?
We've talked a lot about this and thought about this. And right now, if we were to split matchmaking into separate maps, it would reduce the matchmaking pool considerably, which would slow down matchmaking. It would make it more difficult to produce fair matches. So it's not something we're really exploring right now.
Now, you guys clearly knew what you were doing when you come to make Valorant White and what you wanted to put in there. I guess I wanted to ask, has it beaten your expectations, considering you guys released it during a crazy time of all Corona and stuff going on? It's immensely popular at the moment. Does it beat the kind of what you expected to see? What level of we were going to see these numbers and this many people playing it?
Yeah, it's been a huge success, and I think it surpassed all our expectations, starting from the insane closed beta performance up till now. But COVID has really had, we've had to reevaluate a lot of our plans, both with the launch of the game and also esports. It's really sad that international esport events are really hard to do right now. And I know personally, how incredible the energy of the live audience is. So I'm just really excited to see that in esports and Valorant. And I'm really excited, frankly, to just have an EU-NA match and finally put that debate to bed.
I can't wait for that either. Now, I'm going to ask you this, just a last cheeky question when it comes to it. Who are you rooting for to win this event here and now? Who do you think is going to take it? Let's get your insight.
So I'm not going to say I'm rooting for anyone in particular, but man, I want to see another person on the throne of an EU tournament. That FPX match was really interesting and exciting. Hopefully someone can come back against G2, but we'll see.
We'll have to see indeed. Jazza, thank you very much for your time, man. It's greatly appreciated. And thank you for giving us this amazing game. We cannot wait, similar to you, to get onto LAN, to see EU and NA go head-to-head. And enjoy the rest of your day, my friend. Enjoy the matches.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Great stuff there, Mitch, to get some insight from the man himself. And the thing is, right, when you look at Valorant as an esports and how far it's come in such a short amount of time, it's pretty crazy. he was just saying there, right, about the development process changing because of all Corona. They probably had planned for these LAN events to already be taking place and how it all goes down. Yet we're getting such quality events on an online perspective. We're seeing some of these best teams. I love the fact that he's all down to see another EU team take the win, right? Because NA's got that back and forth at the moment. There's just not one team fully dominant with it. So let's keep this show moving. Let's keep on moving forward.